All right, everybody. Today I'm going to tell you why I think PlayStation is going to buy Square Enix. But before I do that, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. Let's get started. This week we basically learned that Sony has approximately $5 billion left for acquisitions and investments. It's not specifically for PlayStation, but more than likely PlayStation will be using this. And this article, straight from DualShockers, tells us that way back in 2021, Sony revealed it had earned around $18 billion for strategic investments across its entire company, which expanded to the acquisition of developers like Housemarque and Bungie, as well as anime streaming service Crunchyroll. This money was intended to last until 2024, and during a Morgan Stanley web conference earlier this week, it confirmed that it has about $5 billion left. So what does that mean for PlayStation? Over the past few years, PlayStation has been snagging up a bunch of smaller to mid-sized developers, but now I think it's put themselves in the position to go out there and nab a big publisher like Square Enix. Square over the past few years has been struggling in its second-party deals with games like Outriders that weren't a huge success. There was a game that Platinum Games developed that was a huge flop. The Final Fantasy Stranger in Paradise game didn't light the world on fire. A game like Forspoken, we've seen Forspoken was not a critical or commercial success, and the Luminous Productions team was just folded back into Square Enix. And recently we've seen them sell off their Western studios, Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, the Tomb Raider IP, Deus Ex IP, in order to trim some of the fat of their company and get them more along the lines of someone to purchase them, basically. Now that Square has kind of basically trimmed the fat and gotten rid of a lot of its lesser producing studios, it makes them a lot more attractive to be purchased by somebody. And PlayStation wants to be known as the Final Fantasy box. They want to be known as the place you go to play Final Fantasy games. And what better way to do that than to purchase Square itself? PlayStation has been losing ground year over year after generation in its homeland of Japan to Nintendo. And with this purchase, it would go a long way to regaining some of that market share that they once had in Japan. But the biggest reason why I think this is going to happen and that nobody is talking about is the upcoming subscription wars. It's happening in music, it's happening in TV and movies, and it's just inevitable before it's going to happen in games with the rise of things like Game Pass. You see Nintendo's got a subscription. PlayStation is bolstering its PlayStation Plus offerings. And buying Square would get PlayStation a 30-plus year catalog of some of the biggest JRPGs that have ever been made. For subscriptions, content is king, and to have a numerous amount of Final Fantasy games, Dragon Quest games to throw in your subscription only. Hell, PlayStation could even keep some of the newer releases like Octopath Traveler, some of the smaller games on Switch where they sell incredibly well, but keep all the older stuff locked to their subscription, and it'd be a huge deal for them. So just remember, bookmark this video, and when this deal goes through, make sure to come back here and tell me how I was the first one to let you know that this deal was going to happen. So that's it for today's video. Do me a favor, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later. Thanks.